Hi everybody, this is Jennifer and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use some new dies by Simon Says Stamp. They're frame dies with some flowers in the middle. This is not going to be a technique video, it's really about how and what ways we can use these dies. So use your imagination, and with that, let's go ahead and get started. So let's take a look at some of the materials that I'm going to use. The first one is a frame die called Dahlia by Simon Says Stamp. And what's cool about these is it's actually the actual size of what's on the front there, but they cut a frame around, but then they also, the flowers are attached to it. And the second one here is called Poppy Frame. And they're really easy to use. So that's why there's not a lot of techniques I'm going to be using in this. It's more showing you what you could do with the frame dies. So I'm using Gina K Designs Premium Ink, and this color is Tranquil Teal. And then I use Hero Arts Intense ink, and then I had a pad of paper. It's by Crafter's Companion. You don't need to get this. I don't even know if it's still sold, but you could use any paper that you have on hand. It could be patterned or not, so use your imagination. And we'll talk about what that looks like if you don't even have the dies. I have some options for you. And then I use some Nuvo crystal drops, and those there in the carrying case. I'm not going to use them all, but I do wind up picking a couple of them to use on some of the cards. And then I have a blending brush and some glue and some foam tape. So here is just the basics. I'm running these dies through, I use the Gemini Junior to do this off camera. And I'm just showing you, it comes out. I will tell you, I did this on a 110-pound Nina Solar Crest. I don't know that you need to do something that thick, but my thought is that I would build these up. I add, because the weight is thick enough, I add just 2 of them. If you use maybe more 60 or 80-pound paper, it will probably be easier to cut. This one has a lot of pieces that pop out, especially this one. And so I might recommend using a thinner cardstock if you don't have something like a Gemini or something that's really good at cutting through dies. And then maybe instead of adding 2 layers, you add 3. So this is what it looks like when you pop everything out, and that tool is very handy, by the way. And I'm just going to attach 2 of those together for every card, and in this video I'm actually going to be doing 4 different cards. So I do the same thing with the second die. I cut 2 out for each card so I can layer them using that same cardstock, and just wanted to show you here what it looks like when it goes through the die machine. So let's go ahead and get started on card number 1. And I talked about, this is really about giving you some ideas. This is not about technique. So I will include some videos that may make sense, links below. This one I had just gone through, I was really looking for a patterned background, and I love alcohol inks. This is a card I made in one of my previous videos, so I thought it would be a cool background. And so I am attaching it to the card base, which is just a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's a 110-pound cardstock, and I'm attaching it with some foam tape here. I will go ahead and attach the frame and the flower onto it. I'd like to just thank my subscribers, and if you aren't one yet, please take a moment to subscribe. And if you are on Instagram, up in the top left-hand corner, you'll see my name for Instagram, so check me out. I'd like to do some previews there of things that are coming on this channel. So here's a look at the final card, and I did add a sentiment to it. It is the Alta New Many Thanks stamp set, and I actually use this on another card as well. Take a moment, comment below. What do you think? Do you like this background? Is it too busy? Is it not busy enough? Let me know your thoughts. So here's the second card that we're going to do. It is similar to one of the other cards that I'll be doing, But what I like about this one is I tend to stay in the cool tones, the blues, the greens. This one, using this red paper in the background, I think just makes it unique for me. Again, look and see what cardstock you have on hand. This comes out of that paper packet that I had from Crafter's Companion that I showed earlier in the video. So this is the card assembled, and it is really just, I think what makes it is that second layer with the polka dots on it. I put some foam tape to give it some extra dimension. This I thought needed maybe a little bit behind the flower to kind of tone down some of the polka dots. So I put some vellum there, and I added a couple of drops to give the card a little dynamic and put the enjoy on there. And so let me know, comment down below, what do you think of this card? Okay, this is card number 3, and I wanted to keep this one pretty simple. I was watching Simon Says Stamp, and they actually used this technique on a different card and thought I could use it here. This is an opportunity just to grab ink, and I will tell you, I initially was going to do it, and this was like a throwback card, I think is what they were doing, or in their vault, and this is where I saw this technique, but it's really simple. Whatever blending brush you have, go ahead and pick an ink. I picked initially gray, and it was just too light, so I wound up doing away with it and picking this beautiful, I love blues, beautiful turquoise color by Gina K Designs. And so this is the gray, you'll see that here. It was too light, so you can kind of see it when I put the dye on it, but to me it just wasn't brilliant enough. So I wound up using this blue, and I thought this brown background would look good with that blue, so that's what I chose to do. And I go ahead and assemble it just like I did the others. I like the clean look of this card, and so what I decided to do was add the sediment at the bottom, and I just stamped it with Hero Arts Intense Black ink, and I used the Altenew set that I had talked about earlier, the thank you set of stamps, and added a couple of dots of the pearl, and that finished off the card. So here's my 4th card, and I, again, going for the very similar look, a pattern background, 2 layers, and I like the yellow. It was another warm color for me, and I added a hello sediment that I had already previously cut out. It's 2 stacked on each other. I felt like I needed something that the sediment wasn't going to get lost, and so I wind up laying it right on over the dies, and I used this Nuvo drops and put it in the flowers. You can kind of see it hasn't dried yet on the video, so it's a little milky, but when it dries shiny and clear. It almost looks like a stained glass. So if you get an opportunity where you have some of that, try it out. I just thought it looked pretty cool with the flowers here. So before we end this video, I have some tips, but give me a thumbs up if you like it. Share your comments down below. Vote, which card do you like? So if you're interested in getting content like this in the future, hit the subscribe button and alert, and you'll be notified. So I do want to show you some alternatives. If you don't have these dies, I am a fan of go to what you have on hand. So you may have other options. There's some dies in here that I have that you could kind of recreate a look. It's not going to be identical, but I do have these Spellbinder rectangular sets. I think I got these at Michael's, but you might be able to get them on Simon Says Stamp too. It is the exact same size of the background, and then it's just a matter of finding something that's going to fit in it. And then I thought, does it really matter if it fits in it? There might be ways that you can update this look. So I went to some other dies that I had, their perfume bottles, and I think it would fit in here. You could cut off that top part and just have the bottle be by itself, and it would fit in the frame. You could also, I have a butterfly die, and it could fit over the frame. So I think that's okay too, to have a layered look where you still have the frame, you could still do something in the background. So just look in your craft room or your space and see, is there something that you have that could recreate the look? versus going out and buying these, or these are great dyes. So I'm going to use them in the future. I would highly recommend them, but I understand they're not always the cheapest things to buy. So look at what you have on hand. Thank you so much for hanging in with me. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day or evening.